What's up, guys? It's Bradley G. Smith with another Keymaker Nation podcast. You wake up, drive 30 minutes to work as an employee at your 9 to 5, which you hate, and all you can think about at work is providing for your family, starting your business, moving it forward, changing the world, and in the process, living the life of freedom and fulfillment you've always imagined. This podcast helps you transition from employee to entrepreneur. My name is Bradley G. Smith, and welcome to the Keymaker Nation podcast. So today's podcast, I'm just getting off work here, and I'm driving home. I'm actually going to pick up dinner for us. But today's podcast, I wanted to give a little bit more explanation. I've done 2 podcasts already for Keymaker Nation, and I wanted to do at least this podcast and probably another episode where I talk a little bit more about the idea behind Keymaker Nation and why I'm starting a podcast. So for me specifically, Keymaker Nation, I think it's important to talk about what Keymaker Nation is and where I came up with it at. Basically, if you followed any of my, if you listened to any of my previous episodes, you heard me talk about how I sort of see like successful people in the marketing space and in online marketing basically are doing podcasts and or they're doing like a daily video. And so I've just sort of been following them, and some of the people that I follow either on YouTube or via podcasts sort of have a community built up around them. And one of the guys I listen to, Russell Brunson, already mentioned him once, talks about building up your cult-ure. And I've heard that so many times it sounds old now, but he talks about building that up and the importance of it. And so I've been trying to just think how I can do that, how I can build my tribe. You know, Seth Godin calls it a tribe, but I've sort of listened to what people call their group of people or their community, and I've been trying to think, you know, what is it that I can come up with that is sort of along those same lines. It's, you know, community building, and it's a place where people want to go and hang out and be connected to each other in sort of a similar space. And so the name I came up with is Keymaker Nation, and where that comes from specifically, I thought I'd at least mention the names of the other communities that I'm a part of, that of people that I follow and listen to, and some of them I listen to more than others, but some of the other names of communities that I've heard that come to mind are, one of them is Kevin David. Kevin David, of course, has a course called Facebook Ad Ninjas, but and he's got 2 other courses as well, but he refers to his community as like ninjas. And so so he's got like Amazon ninjas, FBA ninjas, Facebook Ad Ninjas, and so that's one of them. Russell Brunson has one called Funnel Hackers. He's, of course, popular for several reasons, but probably the most the reason he's most popular is because he created ClickFunnels, and he's built up a community around that. His community is called Funnel Hackers. Another guy I listen to, his name is Clark Kegley, and he's a YouTuber, and sort of in the same space as me, work from home and affiliate marketer and small business entrepreneur. But his YouTube channel is called Refusing to Settle, and he refers to his community as refusers. So he'll get on and say, "What's up, refusers?" And so that's another one. And then another guy that I listen to, Chris Record, he hasn't done a lot of YouTubing lately, but he's got a YouTube channel, and or at least I haven't seen a lot of his videos lately. I think he took a break to build some software, but his community, his name is Chris Record, his community was called Record Breakers. And so man, it's just a lot of really cool names that people are building up their tribes and communities around. And so I figured, you know, man, I need to have one of these so that I can sort of build up my presence online and sort of give people a place to go to whenever they start to follow. And so for me, I was sitting there trying to think of, what is it that I could use, and something to do with keys kind of came to mind. And then I started thinking about probably one of my favorite movies of all time. It's got to be up there, at least in my top 5, is The Matrix. And specifically, I was thinking about, for some reason, the word Keymakers came to mind. And so I sort of typed that into Google, and who comes up? None other than the guy who played the Keymaker on The Matrix. And I really liked some of the Wikipedia entries I read about the Keymaker and sort of them explaining who he was. And basically the Keymaker, as I sort of understood it, was like a roguelike agent inside of a system who figures out how to connect the dots, or how to go from point A to point B, and sort of breaks the rules, and has figured out ways to get around certain things. Basically a problem solver. And I just like the whole concept of a roguelike agent inside of a system. And so for me, that sort of like struck a chord with me. And so I sort of think of this community as a community of marketers, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, affiliates, small, medium businesses that are, trying to figure out how to, get traffic, leads, and conversions, but also are, not breaking the law, but understand the rules and figuring out how to solve problems. And if that means having to figure out how to bend and break the rules in a way, again, that's not breaking the law, then that's like right on the money. So yeah, that's sort of what I think of when I think of Keymaker. I like the fact in the movie that The Matrix, they portrayed him as sort of like this unsuspecting guy who, didn't really have like a whole lot of like charisma or even like skills to protect himself, but he was a problem solver, and that's the idea that I like with this. And so that sort of leads me to my next question for you guys, which is, when it comes to business, when it comes to trying to figure out how to solve problems either for your marketing department or for you, or hustling or trying to drum up sales, or trying to build the software that you're trying to build, when you come up against a problem, are you someone who just sort of says, that's it, I'm not really sure how to pass this obstacle? Or are you a problem solver? Do you find the problems, or do you solve the problems? And if you solve the problems, then you're a Keymaker, and you are a roguelike agent in a system, and you are able to figure out ways around problems. And so that's it. So that's sort of what I wanted to share related to Keymaker Nation. And the whole concept of nation is just a place that you can go and congregate and be together. So if that resonates with you, then I invite you to join my private Facebook group, and it's called Keymaker Nation. And yeah, guys, I want to make this as good as possible for you. I want to share whatever tips and tricks or hacks or marketing tips that I can think of related to this. And I want it to be a community that is, a community of problem solvers. And so, yeah, I've probably got one more video that I want to hit in terms of highlighting what exactly Keymaker Nation is. And I came up with a manifesto, and I can't really read that while I'm in the car driving. So I'll probably take a moment later today or tomorrow when I'm at home and read that manifesto, because I think it sort of, I tried to make it encompass what I thought a Keymaker is and who a Keymaker is. So that's all I got for today's podcast. Maybe if we're lucky, I'll get another one in later today. I'm trying to get this podcast launched. It's going to be on YouTube, and it's going to be available for download via iTunes and some other outlets. But I want to put at least 5 episodes together before I get that launched. So thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you guys or hopefully talk to you guys in the next podcast. Hey guys, don't forget to join me in the Keymaker Nation private Facebook group. If you're listening to the podcast via iTunes, please rate and review. And if you're listening via YouTube, don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe. And as always, thanks for listening.